Hi guys, this is gsno.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Yes, the big one, which starts at $1,099. We've already unboxed the 13 Pro, so this is the 13 Pro Max and it's quite hefty. It weighs 240 grams, one of the heaviest phones out there, and we got here the Sierra Blue version with the 512 gigabytes of storage, a huge camera at the back with huge lenses. It debuted in September, was unveiled on September 14th, pre-order started on October 1st, and here we have it. Okay, so I've already performed the setup, so no need to worry about that, and this is an unboxing, first impressions, and a specs recap. Now in the box there's not much. Starting from last year, Apple decided to ditch the charger, so we only have the cable going from USB-C to Lightning. The European Union wants to force Apple to put a USB-C connector here instead of Lightning. We'll see about that. And here we have the key used to access the slots, a bunch of stickers, a sticker here actually, and some instructions, manuals and so forth. That's it. Apple claims that it wants to reduce pollution by not bundling a charger. That's the official reason. It's not just the waste that they're dealing with, I mean the plastic thingy which lacks here. Since they have a smaller box, it's easier to fit more boxes on a boat or a plane, which saves CO2, apparently. Now, as far as the phone is concerned, the versions start at $1,099. That's the 128 gigabyte version. There's also one with 256 at $1,199, one with 512, $1,399, and one with 1 terabyte at $1,599. In a nutshell, the device has a smaller notch, an upgraded camera, and also a beefier design and a brand new CPU. Now, if you want to talk about the design, first and foremost, it's similar to the predecessor, except for the fact that, as you can see, it has a smaller notch by 20%. We have a special ceramic shield at the front, ceramic shield glass. There is a glass at the backside with Gorilla Glass protection and stainless steel in between them, a flat bezel, a flat frame as we've seen last year on the iPhone 12 Pro series, and also inspired by the iPhone 4 for some reason. Aside from the Sierra Blue color, we have gold, gray and silver. There's also, aside from the 240 gram weight here, which is impressive, last year's iPhone 12 Pro Max was 228 grams heavy, and this one measures 7.7 millimeters in thickness, the exact same as the iPhone 13 Pro. It's got IP68 certification. You can dunk it in up to 6 meters of water for 30 minutes. It's supposed to survive that. Now the screen you're seeing right here, we're dealing with a 6.7-inch OLED Super Retina XDR panel, which has finally switched to 120 Hz refresh rate. It can go down to about 10 Hz to save power. It has HDR10 support and Dolby Vision. It's supposed to deliver 1200 nits of brightness, and the resolution is a pretty atypical one. Here we go, gsno.com. It's 2778 over 1284 pixels. That's the resolution you're getting here. Okay, I think we've done enough about the screen. It's definitely bright, but the bezels are quite big for nowadays requirements. If you go here to the AIDA64 app, you're going to notice that we have the Apple A15 inside, the brand new CPU. This one is a 5nm hexa-core chip, which is supposed to be pretty powerful. Microarchitecture of the Bionic sort, made by TSMC, accompanied by 6 gigs of RAM and starting at 128 gigabytes of storage, NVMe going up to 1 terabyte. Now the battery is probably the most important thing here and the most impressive thing here. It's 4352 mAh, which is actually quite the increase from the iPhone 12 Pro Max 3687 mAh. And strangely enough, even though on paper it's supposed to charge at 23 watts, tests have shown that it actually charges at 27 watts. It's supposed to bring up the device to 50% battery after 30 minutes of charging. Now, aside from that, there's also MagSafe support, so you can attach accessories to it using magnets here in this area, and you can also do wireless charging at 15 watts. On the connectivity front, this is a 5G handset, and 5G was implemented starting last year with the iPhone 12 series. So we do have 5G, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.0, GPS, NFC, Lightning, the port at the bottom, and ultra-wideband. For the sake of music and fun, we have stereo speakers. There's one here and there's one on the top side in the earpiece above the notch, or in the notch, I would have to say that better. And when it comes to the camera, it's embedded here in this mechanism here. You're going to find the 12 megapixel shooter with a special FaceTime SL3D sensor, which helps you with both selfies with bokeh and FaceTime unlock. This camera takes 4K 60 frames per second videos, and you can probably see the infrared sensor if you really look at it from the proper angle. Now if you go to the back side, we have here a triple camera setup. Just like the previous years, these are three 12 megapixel shooters, but with some upgrades. The sensor shift stabilization from last year was limited to the iPhone 12 Pro Max. This year, the exact same camera is present on the 13 Pro Max and the 13 Pro. Zero differences. So the main sensor has sensor shift stabilization and OIS, dual pixel face detection autofocus, and f1.5 aperture. There is a telephoto camera here, 12 megapixel of course, optical image stabilization, and 3x optical zoom. We have a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera which takes macros and has its own face detection autofocus. This one is the time of flight 3D LiDAR sensor. This is the dual LED flash. This is a microphone, and we can take 4K 60 frames per second videos using this device. There are some novelties here, like for example we have macro. So if you bring your finger, for example, very close to the camera, you're going to notice a shift in the perspective and the camera lens to create a proper macro. This is automatic, but starting with iOS 15.1 you're going to be selecting this manually, and that's what the macro is all about. It's still a bit of a hit and miss, as I've seen on the iPhone 13 Pro, just like the other new feature, cinematic. This is basically a way of creating a bokeh video, but it's more than that. It can detect people moving in the image and automatically blur what's behind them. It can alternate the point of focus, so if there were three people around me, I could actually tap on them to select on them and blur everything else. And you can do more. You can select who is going to be blurred after the video has already been taken. So that's, I would say, post-processing, which happens in the photo application. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, so in the photo section I must also show the new color profiles. You can see them here. You can opt for standard, rich contrast, vibrant, warm, and cool, each of them with two settings, two sliders for warmth and tone. That's only part of the novelty. Let's see what else. With the cinematic feature from before, you can actually swap the f aperture for the depth perception. And aside from that, we also have photo and video, of course. There's portrait, there's panorama, there's the brand new Smart HDR4, there's night mode portrait, there's pro resolution, ProRes support, which is basically what people have been nicknaming a sort of raw capture for video, providing people who edit videos with more details and more things to tweak. So that's about it. Macro, color profiles, cinematic, and of course the zoom, which is finally at a higher level, but still just 3x optical zoom doesn't cut it. However, digital zoom is actually not half bad this year. 15x, that's the maximum you're getting here. Okay, so with enough talk about the hardware, I think it's time to refer to the software. And here we're getting a iOS 15 setup. So if you go here, we're going to notice the focus mode, which is a new feature. There are profiles here, so you can select do not disturb, sleep, personal, or work. They're going to put filters for notifications, signal your friends with a sort of status that you're busy or that you're spending time with the family. Safari now has the browser bar at the bottom. You can move it at the top. It has extensions. The camera app is able to read text automatically and even copy it. It read the text. Okay, so right now you can use it to copy it in a notepad, look it up, select all, and there are more options to play with. This is useful particularly for students who work with big manuals and don't have time to copy all the information. Now, aside from that, let's see what else we have here. Of course, we still have the dark mode. We also have novelties related to FaceTime, like the grid view, background blur, spatial audio. And as far as notifications are concerned, there have been improvements here. They're more visible and the icons are more clearer, especially for the contacts. There's a new weather app, if anyone is interested about that. I actually like it better now. It's more concise and to the point, even though it's a bit more old school and they toned down the animations, I would say. Okay, so once again, we can edit those cinematic videos and choose the people you're focusing on. And iOS 15.1 will bring us the option to make a manual macro, not just the typical one, not just the automatical one. Okay, so that's about it in a nutshell. My first impression is that even the phone is so thick and heavy and wide, because it's also quite long and wide, the weight is well distributed. You will not feel it in your hand. That's nice, and the grip is aided by the flat edges. Even though its weight has increased from the already heavy iPhone 12 Pro Max, somehow Apple managed to distribute it pretty well. I have pretty interesting expectations related to the camera, although I'm a bit disappointed by the macro and the cinematic. Having played with them both, I think they need updates to be on par with the competition's macro and bokeh videos. That's it from us, that's it for now. This has been the unboxing of the iPhone 12 Pro Max, starting at $1,099. We'll be back with a full review pretty soon. Bye bye.